Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the second last episode for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 15. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on the helicopter that we saw in Episode 14 with Jadis and Negan, and just speculate on it, what we think it could be, what we think it could mean, and just really what it's all about. And spoiler warning as per usual, if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 14. So want to continue along with the daily Walking Dead videos this week. Feel free to send me all the questions you guys have, and we'll do some more Q and A's going into the second last episode of Season 8. So very excited for Walking Dead right now. Really happy that Season 8 with the second half really, I think, killed it. They really brought it this half season, and in this finale, I'm sure it won't disappoint. Considering the fact they're showing it in theaters and everything, it's got to be good if they made the decision to, let's put the finale in theaters with fear. So, the helicopter question. All right, so this one came in after Episode 14, and I did, by the way, a review for Episode 14 in depth. We did predictions for Episode 15 and what we think is going to happen, and we did one for who is it we think that Negan ran into or who he picked up on his way back to the sanctuary, with most people agreeing that Laura makes the most sense, but you never know. Sometimes they go with an unpredictable angle that we might not see on purpose to kind of swerve us, so we don't know, where they're going to go with it and what's going to happen. They don't want it to be too predictable, like killing Carl off, for example. So the questions about the helicopter. Dubsidious said, what was up with the helicopter? A Pasz mentioned it. KCF mentioned it, along with a lot of other people. Casey said, Jadis kept checking her watch like she knew the helicopter was coming. And we do get that sense. We get the sense, I think, in Episode 14 that she knew the helicopter was on that schedule. She was aware of when it was coming, and she was waiting there for it to try to signal it to let whoever was flying the helicopter know that she was there. Now, we have seen it before. We saw it when Rick was on his way there in the first half of The Walking Dead Season 8. And I want to say that, there was that moment right there where he saw it flying overhead and he was kind of puzzled by it. But we are to kind of, I suppose, assume that the Junkyard Group knows of this helicopter, that it's on some kind of routine or some kind of route. They did have a landing pad there at the junkyard, so it raises a lot of questions for, if Jadis is connected to another group. Some people thinking Commonwealth. So Commonwealth, again, we have met Georgie, who certainly seems like a Midge, and the other one, whatever her name is, who certainly seems like she would be from the Commonwealth, and it just really looks like more and more right now they're starting to kind of include, more and more things for this group earlier than we would have expected to see in the Walking Dead television series. So there's no way to say 100% with this one, and you guys can certainly leave a comment below speculating what's your theory on what the helicopter means, what it's all about, and why would Jadis know that it would get there on a certain schedule, and why was she trying to flare it or flare them down, for what purpose? Is the helicopter scouting? Is it going to that location as part of a routine thing? Do the people of the junkyard know who's flying it? Have they met before? I would tend to think this far into the zombie apocalypse, if there was a helicopter flying in some kind of routine check or something, that Jadis and the others would have already signaled it down at some point, and that they would have met the people from there. Could it be the Commonwealth kind of checking in on the junkyard group? Maybe they're aware of them. Maybe they're checking with them to see, maybe in doing so, Jadis had told them possibly about the hilltop and these other communities, so maybe they decided to send, or Georgie decided to go there and meet them. A lot of questions, come up, but it sounds to me like if you're thinking in terms of regular logic, and we're not talking writing, TV series logic here, we're talking just like real world, if Jadis knew they were coming on a schedule, I would think that at this point in the zombie apocalypse, after all these years they've been in the zombie apocalypse, and the fact that the Junkyard Group seems to have been there for a long time, if there was some kind of military routine check over where they were flying to different locations looking for people consistently, then I would think that Jadis and the Junkyard Group would have already met with them at some point, and that maybe Jadis was trying to flag them down to let them know that the group had basically been wiped out and that she was the only surviving member, to see if maybe they could take her with them and she could go back and kind of join their group. So maybe that's what they'll do with Jadis in the future. Maybe we'll see later on in a season her being with another community. Maybe being connected to another community. Is it possible that the Junkyard Group may have been engaged in some kind of trade with another community? Or it's just kind of a strategy of the Commonwealth, if it is from the Commonwealth, to kind of set up these little communities here or touch base with them, like we saw with Georgie earlier with the Hilltop, and then kind of come back and check on them every so often with a helicopter or something like this. Or, come back and check in a couple years and see if the group has become big enough and is trustworthy enough for them to take it in, as part of their own, and share the Commonwealth or the common resources that the group does have. So it raises a lot of cool questions. I suppose it's also possible that she really doesn't know who's flying the helicopter and she's just trying to wave it down because she knows it's coming by. But I tend to think, if it's coming there's a landing pad there was a huge group there. If the helicopter had been going over, I would think that if they were scouting, they probably would know the Junkyard Group was there, which is my guess right now. And it does make sense. It could be from the Commonwealth. It could also be a new add-in group that they add into The Walking Dead Season 9. But I like the idea of the Commonwealth. It certainly does seem like something the Commonwealth would do. And since they're bringing Georgie in now as well, too, I do think the helicopter could be a good lead-in as well for the Commonwealth to kind of, close that circle of how they kind of find groups, test groups, check on groups, and then eventually bring them in if they decide to do so. So that's my favorite theory right now as far as the helicopter questions go. And, Whispers, we should be seeing something soon, but certainly no helicopters would be connected to the Whispers, I wouldn't think. So Pasz said, and this was their breakdown or his thoughts on that, Jadis was watching a clock. She knew what time the helicopter would show up. She had the fire pit ready to light to alert them. Why didn't Negan press her about the helicopter if he didn't know? He acted like WTF, but then didn't ask her anything after she let him go. Please discuss this. I need to know what you think. Thanks, as always, for being such a huge Walking Dead influence. I will let you know about our Walking Dead movie theater experience. So that's great. And all of you guys, too, if you do get a chance to go to see The Walking Dead in theaters for the finale, leave a comment for me afterwards. Let me know and tell me how much fun it was and that kind of stuff, because I can't go. So I live in Canada and everything sucks here. It's all hockey sticks and, syrup and stuff. So, igloos right now. I don't know. It's just, we don't get it here. So it's what it is. But luckily, one thing that's good is we do still have a Toys R Us. So that's kind of cool. So not to rub it in anyone's face if you collect figures or whatever. But anyway, that's aside. Some good comments there. Why didn't Negan, quiz Jadis about this? He's just kind of leaving. But the thing is with Negan, he's got all this other stuff going on. He's not even sure if they're going to win this war 100%. I mean, he just got wrecked by Rick, and Rick almost got him. Rick was this close to getting him a bunch of times. And so I think for Negan, he's probably intrigued by the helicopter. I'm sure he noticed it. But then probably at that moment, he just wanted to leave because Jadis is dangerous and he doesn't know, she's lost everything. If she's going to flip a lid soon or change her mind or something, he probably just wants to take his leave, take his opportunity, get out of there, maybe deliver Simon to him to her on a silver platter or something for her revenge, something like that. But right now, I don't think he's too interested in that. However, I'm sure he's thinking that in the future, he's going to come back and ask her about this. And maybe not in a way where it's he's going to force her to tell him, but maybe in a way where it's he'll offer to help her, allow her to join the group or something. If the Saviors were to win, he would probably let her join them and, live amongst them as maybe not a lieutenant, but something like that, like a higher ranking type of member somewhere. The only question of that is she'd have to earn his trust and stuff like that. Douglas Pasz says, assuming that it is Laura that Negan picked up at the end of episode 14, Negan will know about both Dwight and Simon. Who do you think he'll seek to punish first? So this is a good question. You guys can write a comment below on what you think. Who will be punished first? Will it be Dwight or will it be Simon that gets the Lucille treatment? Personally, a lot of people have kind of predicted this, that they think he's going to set them up. So he's going to give them a game plan that is false and assume that Dwight may go and tell Rick and the others about what's about to happen. And then in doing so, Negan may gain the upper hand. So Negan is going to give false information knowing that he's got a spy inside, and so that game plan will not be true, and then when Dwight goes and tells Rick and the others, Negan will swerve them and end up doing things differently. I really like that idea. I think that's brilliant, and something that you would think that makes a lot of sense. So because you know you have a spy, you have some traitors inside, you don't let out the real plan to hardly anybody. You keep very few people in the know, and anybody who's questionable, you tell them a false plan, so that if it leaks through to them, then you can basically counter, you can set it up so that they think something's going to happen, and then you do something else. So very brilliant. I like that idea, and I think that's what we might see. So he may not, maybe he won't punish either of them right away, but I think Simon, is probably going to get it. Dwight, I think, will be maybe like that theory says, used to share that misinformation, or like a misinformation agent. And then maybe he would plan on punishing him afterwards. But I guess I think Simon will be the one to get it first, because Simon did some shit that's really bad, and Negan is going to, Dwight is a traitor, but what Simon did is really, it's worse than that. He annihilated a whole group of people, and both are really bad from Negan's perspective, but I think Simon might be worse, disobeying a direct order and taking matters into his own hands, life or death, and it being death. So brutal, man. So I think Simon will be the one to punish first. Pop Plays says, rest in peace, Andrea. And that was cool to get the Andrea mention in episode 14. I just think the whole episode was just astounding. It was amazing. It was such a great episode. I really enjoyed it so much. Center 24 says, hey Trev, I am pretty sure Negan picks up Laura in his car. If not, he will but he will not confront Dwight with his betrayal. Negan will use Dwight to give the Hilltop a fake attack plan. What are your thoughts? So I like that. That's I already commented on that one. Matthew Houston says, we're still waiting for your What If T-Dog Survived video. What if T-Dog survived? Everything would be exactly the same. No, it's like, what if T-Dog survived and Carol died? I don't think it would have turned out as good as it did, to be honest with you. Could T-Dog ever become as awesome as Carol? No, I don't think so. I just can't see it, so that's what it is. Tammy Wilson says, I have to disagree, Trev. Rick kept his word. He told Morgan they will kill them all, governor style, right? Plus, he told Daryl in the graveyard it's about our people and nobody else. So he kept his word, he just didn't keep it to the Saviors. I like that way of looking at it, right? That's good. Garso says, did anyone else notice that Simon doesn't seem to be present at Negan's meeting in the preview for next week? And I'm not sure about that. I think he's kind of around there somewhere. There's a picture of Negan putting his hand on Simon's shoulder, so I don't know 100%, what that means. I don't know entirely what that entails. So we're gonna have to see. I'm not privy to spoilers for this episode, which is good. It keeps it fresh, keeps it original, which is cool. And man, we're gonna have to see, man, if he's gonna punish Simon right away or maybe not. But we know that Simon's gonna go to Dwight. He's gonna offer the plan to him to probably try to take Negan down or something of the sort. And we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I think we should see at least one big character death in this episode. And I am thinking it's probably going to be Simon, but I could be totally wrong. We'll see. Michael Jacobs says, this episode was stacked, more so than any other episode I can remember in the history of the show's entire 8-season run. Was there any other episode where so much happened? Well, when they, and I'll just comment in right here, when they extend out the episode, this one, for example, they packed in a lot of stuff. There have been quite a few episodes that were extended and had a lot of stuff in them. No Way Out is an episode that had a regular runtime, but it had a lot of stuff packed into it as well, too. So there are a lot throughout the series like that. It's just that we don't get them that often, so, it's something that when we do, it's pretty cool to see. And there wasn't a segment of the episode that was boring. I wasn't hoping to get back to a particular story at any point in this one. The entire runtime was interesting and very well placed. I agree with that, or very well paced. I agree with that, Mike. It was an awesome episode. You're right. It wasn't like 18 Miles Out where we just want to see Rick fight Shane, and the other stuff just like we don't care. But yeah. And then Dwayne Harper says, I believe that Heath is part of the Whispers, so he's joined the Whispers at this point. And you might be right about that. We're looking, and I included that just to say we're looking pretty soon, brother. I think we're at the final episode. maybe they're saving it for the finale, but episode 15, I would not be too surprised if we saw something for the Whisperers, just something. But episode 16, I'm definitely expecting to see some raspy Whispers for sure. And Heath being involved, he's supposed to return this season. We only have 2 episodes left, so there's a mention right there, guys. Heads up for that. We should be seeing him pretty soon, unless that was misinformation and they've Dwighted us, right? So that'll be it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. Thank you, guys, all you new guys, for subscribing. I do appreciate it, and for everybody who's been subscribed and consistently has stayed subscribed, thank you guys too. You know, you guys are what make this channel work and keep going and making the videos all the time. So thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys are amazing. That's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, thumb it up, share, favorite, and subscribe if you're new. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.